So we've got a Kubota diesel side-by-side, a UTV in the shop today. I'm going to be doing a service on it. This is the 50-hour service. So it's just going to be changing the oil and filter and then changing the transmission, both filters on the transmission. So we'll walk you through that just to give you a little comparison. This thing is just a huge beast. Now I'm standing right up here close to the little CJ3B, and that thing just dwarfs it. Width-wise, it's similar, but this thing is actually taller than my 92 Dodge pickup, 3/4 ton 4-wheel drive with the Cummins. So it's got a lot of height, and it is just a monster. So hopefully you can hear me. I just fired it up. This is the little diesel. A little 3-cylinder. You gotta love Kubota diesels. They are a good running little engine. So I just ran it for just a little bit to get the oil temperature up. Tilt up the box so you can get to everything, and make sure you put the little lock in so it doesn't come down and pinch you. This thing sits up high enough with the tracks that I don't need to put it up in the air. I'm just gonna get on the old cardboard and drop the skid plate off. That should be a 12 mil, and then the oil plug should be a 14. So we'll see if that's the case. There's 2 in the back, and then 3 up here in the front. Yay! And right up here should be the plug, and it is 14 mil. Okay, you can definitely see that's not quite designed very good. The oil spills onto the front skid plate, which I am not going to take that whole skid plate off. We'll just clean that mess up after it's drained. So let this drain for a while. So right there is the one problem with that setup. Is the front skid plate then drains the oil well past your pan, so it requires a little bit of extra caution, I would say. All right, if you've looked around on the internet a little bit, you'll know that the driver's side, or the left side, is where the oil filter is. It's kind of down in there a little ways, you know. Of course, it's like anything that's manufactured these days and packed in. The oil fill, they put a relocate on it, so the oil fill is actually down here, but they relocated it so you could actually fill it without taking that out. So that's kind of nice engineering. One thing I wish that they would have done, and there's plenty of room to do it, is to put the filter in the other way. The oil filter goes in on the side, and why not just have it come in from the bottom? That is, to me, so much nicer when you go to change the oil. And you can see I got a little drip that I missed, and of course the drip pan, or the skid plate, that caused a lot of dripping from the front skid plate, but I guess I should have taken them all off if I didn't want it to drip anywhere where I didn't. But with a little engineering, again, they could have made a little cutout right there and it would have worked perfectly. So a couple of things that Kubota could have done better on the RTV front. So I wanted to just show you the damage that mice do. This sits outside, and here's some of the little fuse block, and they just get in there and chew right through stuff. They can be real destructive. So we're going to take this cloth piece out and make a new housing that'll kind of cover that, because this gets used in the winter. That's why it's got tracks, and so like light fluffy snow doesn't get in there onto that circuit board. So for now, Ziploc bag. I'm going to look for a nice little plastic container with a snap-off lid, and then I'll remount it later, but just wanted to make sure it was weatherproof for now, as much as it can be. Okay, so the oil change is done. It takes 4.5 quarts of oil, and now we're going to change the transmission filters that are tucked in there. So I'm going to take this little access cover off just to make that easier. I don't know about you guys, but that sure seems like somebody did not lubricate the O-ring. So I took both filters off and then replaced the back one first. Now I'll put the front one on. All right, guys, well, giving the little Kubota a little drive around here to warm up the old tranny so I can check the fluid. So let's see what it'll do. This is a little tiny ditch. Oh yeah, floats over that like nothing. Don't forget, pull that little cap, take a look at that dipstick after you change your hydraulic and your transmission fluid filters. Just make sure that it's good. This one was fine, so it's ready to go back and run around a little bit more. Okay, so I guess I will just give you my quick 5 minutes worth of driving it around impressions of this little thing. About 9 miles an hour is max speed with the tracks on. That's in high range, low range, I don't know, I didn't even try it. Steering in dirt, you can see making this corner I had to stop, back up, and kind of do it twice, so it doesn't steer the best. You can hear the tracks kind of a little bit when you're doing a tight turn. And so in the winter, he says it is unstoppable, and I believe it. I mean, you know, the thing looks pretty awesome. And the only other thing ergonomically that is really a pain is this is your door release to open the door. Well, when you shut the door, they've got these big safety things so you don't fall out if you don't have the doors on, and this is kind of almost blocked. Look at it on the other side. You can't even see it. So it's not real easy to get in and out of. I guess that's one of those things where if you get used to it, it's fine. But so there's my quick little impression of the Kubota RTV X1120.